welcome to Watercolor Wednesday. Today we're going to be unboxing the Emma Lefebvre Craftamo watercolor box number 9. This is the September box. I'm slowly but surely catching up. But today I have a little guest to help me with the unboxing. It's my grandson Daniel. I'm going to show you Daniel now and he can say hi to you. So here's Daniel and he's going to say hi.
Hi.
Okie dokie. So I'm going to let Daniel unbox a bit for me. In the early days, Daniel and his cousins helped me unbox some nice sweetie boxes, and I'm going to link those below, those videos below, or up here in the, what is it, the right-hand corner, in case you'd like to see those. But those were many years ago. How old are you now, Daniel?
I am 11.
He's 11 now and he likes doing art and he's spending the day with me. So now I'm taking the plastic off and then I'm going to let Danny boy take my place and he can sit on the squeaky chair and he can open it. So it's a weird one that you pull up here. And what have we got? This is a gorgeous picture and this is what we're going to be painting this month. What else is there? What are those?
Paintbrushes.
They're paintbrushes. So let's see. Can you see with your eyes, because I'm half blind, what size they are? That's a 12 round. That is absolutely fabulous. And what does that say?
Number 2 cat's tongue.
Wow. So a nice tiny one, and I need a 12 round. I don't know if you guys remember that I was moaning that we never get round brushes. You can open that. Open it over here so they can see, right? More forward, 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 forward. But now, the last 2 months, we've actually got round brushes, which really is fabulous. Those boxes are a little bit difficult. So what colours will there be this month? Aha, that looks good. I'm going to move, we'll take those out later and I'll tell you exactly what they are. What do you think's in there?
Let's see.
Keep it under here. I wonder what that is. We get a kind of a free gift with every box. That looks interesting. I wonder what it is. Do I need my glasses, do you think?
No, I don't think you do.
What does it say? Craftamo? Can you read that?
Luxury vegan brush soap.
Oh, wow. That's nice. Look at that. Ugh. Yeah, I managed it. Look at that. So that's some brush soap. That's awesome. And it's great that it's vegan and cruelty-free. And then we've got the drawing to sketch to help us. Some tracing paper. And the 100% cotton paper. So I will be back to swatch the paints. I have now unboxed the colors, and these are the 4 colors we got in this box. This is the September box. I'm actually, as I look at things, getting more and more muddled with the numbers. So I think I'm going to just state that this is the September box because I watched the previous one. I watched the previous class that Emma gave, and that was the August box. So this is definitely the September box. I think they started in January, so it must be box number 9. So we got cobalt blue hue, leaf green, yellow ochre, and scarlet lake. So I'm going to swatch those for you. I'm just going to spray them. And I'm going to use the smaller brush that we received this time, which is the very small cat's tongue brush. I'm very pleased with this month's brushes. I just want to add. And I have my paper towel available. And I have my vessel of water. I don't think it's all on screen. I'm never quite sure. The app that I record with doesn't seem to be completely true to what comes out on the computer. So I haven't cleaned my tin. I often use these things as they are. So this is cobalt blue hue. I've got too much water on my brush. I'm going to rinse the brush, dry it off a little bit. It's not clean. And spread that down. I think I've got a lot of water on there, so I'm going to drop some more paint in. It's a beautiful color, isn't it? Then we have leaf green, which looks like almost a neon yellow green. And a few people in last month's, or the last unboxing, it was the August box, but it wasn't last month. I'm doing these a bit one on top of the other. Seem to enjoy me painting something, so I'm going to paint something with these paints just now, so hang on and see what you get. I'm not painting the tutorial Emma gave. I will do that. I'll follow the tutorial. This is yellow ochre, and then show you my finished painting once it's done in my watercolored and painted video, but that's not going to be this one. This will be next month's video. And here's the Scarlet Lake. So these are quite bright colors. Getting a lovely full palette of glorious colors, aren't I? It's really exciting. This watercolor paper of mine has almost gone water repellent. I'm not quite sure why. It was an inexpensive cellulose paper that I used for the swatching, so that could be why. I know sometimes the sizings expire. So there we have the colors for this month. And I have put the little tags that they came with on the other side, but I'm not going to turn this over right now because it will make these fall off. So I've drawn out some leaves. I thought it might be fun for me to, let me just cover this, to paint some leaves and use these colors. I'm a little bit worried about wrecking my painting, so I'm just going to fix that on there with some masking tape just to protect this page, because I want to have my palette over here, which will help you guys see what I'm doing, and I don't want my other picture to get spoiled. So I've very lightly drawn out, I'm not sure if you can even see it, some leaves and an acorn, and I'm going to play with these paints and the brushes, and I just want to go over this with my kneaded eraser just to remove any dark lines. And I'm going to start with these oak leaves, and I'm going to be using the size 12 round brush. I may use other brushes to paint these if this is too big. So I'm just removing the sizing from the brush first. And then I'm going to, first of all, do some color mixing. So I'm using this cobalt blue hue and making a puddle, and I'm going to add some of that to the green that I had there. And I'm going to start with that. Just doing a vague outline here, and I'm going to add different colors as I go along. This size 12 brush holds a lot of water. And then I'm going to bring this in, and I want to make it a fall or autumn leaf. So I'm going to try dropping in other colors onto this damp one. I'm using my little Arteza sketchbook. Which I don't think is 100% cotton paper. And now I'm going to rinse my brush out and just dry it off a little bit and bring in some of this yellow ochre. Drop it in. Just for fun. And spread that a little bit along. So this leaf's still got some green in it. And then I've washed that brush out. I'm going to use my little brush. And I want to use some of this Scarlet Lake and mix that with a bit of the green. Because if you mix two colors that are on opposite sides of the color wheel, you will get a neutral color, but if you just mix a little bit, you will sort of darken the color a little bit more. You see what I did there? I dirtied my paint. So I'm just going to lift that off. I don't like dirtying my paints. I know some artists do. I know Emma does. She keeps using a dirty brush in her paint, and her painting looks awesome, but I get quite antsy when I've dirtied my paint. I think it's my mild OCD that gets the better of me. So I'm just going to add a bit more of the Scarlet Lake here. I'm getting a more browny green, and I want to add that on the edges. And I've got too much water there. It's in a great big puddle. So I'm just going to soak that up with a thirsty brush. This is something I really need to work on, is my water control. And I'm going to just take some of the red right here on top of the green. And let it blend out. Because I don't mind in this particular instance if it becomes brown, because that's kind of the nature of the leaf. So I'm going to let that one dry, and then I'm going to mix this yellow ochre with the green, and I'm going to paint this one and try not to get it so very wet. I think I'm using the smaller brush. I think I would normally use like a size 6 round brush for this, but I might as well use this little cat's tongue. It's a very neat little brush with this awesome point. I'm filling this in. water control's better here. Using slightly richer mixture of paint. I love painting leaves. If you follow my channel, you will know this about me by now. I really just love painting leaves. Gives me a lot of pleasure. So now I want to drop some of the yellow ochre onto the edges. Mustn't have my brush too wet. Elizabeth, concentrate on what you're doing. Just on the edges. You're all experiencing fall. I'm busy experiencing spring, but it is so cold and rainy today. You would never say it's spring. Can you see what's happened here? This is an actual teaching point. The water, there was too much water on my brush, and it caused what's called either a cauliflower or a bloom. It's pushed the pigment backwards. And that is a mistake, but I like it, so I'm going to leave it. I'm just telling you it's there in case you think I don't know that it's a mistake in watercoloring. But in this particular instance, I actually like it. I'm blending some of that out. But I like the sort of natural pale color that's come there. And on this one, I'm going to put some of the red just at the bottom and let it bleed. See what happens. So now I'm rinsing my brush, and this paint is very pigmented. It's fabulous. And I'm drying it off this time. So it's just damp, so I should not create another bloom here. Just to spread some of that. Because I should have let it dry to do what I was trying to do. So I'll add some lines and things once this is dried. I want that bit of green. Okay, now I'm going to try mixing another color. I want to use some of this blue. I'm going to use some more. And blue and red should make a kind of a purple, but these are not. These are both kind of very bright. So yeah, it's making almost a muddy grey. I would like to see what that looks like. Maybe it could be a nice leaf color. Shall I try it? Can't see what I've done here. There we are. This is not true. This is just having fun. So now I'm going to do leaves with my... I'm going to get a size 6 brush out. And if I've got a 6 round here. It's a 10. That's a 7. This is also a Craftamo brush. This is not any collab. It's just a plain Craftamo size 7. So I'm just going to use that and load it up, tip a bit off, and do light pressure, heavy pressure, light pressure, leaf. Another one. I think the brush needs a little more water. Going to take a stem out here a bit. Quite like these purple leaves. Actually, so it did create a purple. I'll add some lines and things later on. Spreading the colour a bit. There we are. And now this one, I think I want it to be a green. Again, going to use my size 6. I've got quite a nice olive green here. Just going to add a nice South African word for you, which means just a teensy weensy bit. I think it's an Afrikaans word, a titseltjie of red. Adding, now that has turned it into orange. Oopsie. Maybe I'll add a bit of blue and see what that happens. Oh, look, we're getting a nice dark green. I'm going to add some more of that lemony green. I have quite a lot of fun mixing these colors, I must say. Just to ever get the same color again is another story. So this one I've actually drawn out because I wanted a big leaf. And I'm just going to color it in. There we are, like that. And I might drop in, what should I drop in there? Some blue. Wonder what that would look like. You never really see blue on a leaf though, do you? Make a purple. I'll drop in some purple, which just makes it dead, but oh, we've got holes in this leaf. It's busy rotting, but I actually love it. I love that. Weird, I'm weird. Okay, I love those colors. It's kind of, I'll put the lines in for the leaf just now. Now I'm going to do the acorn, or at least this is me painting here. I'm going to attempt to do the acorn. So I'm just going to, I don't know, let me know in the comments, do your paintbrushes get wet when you paint? Or do you only wet the bristles? I find it gets quite kind of mushy for me around the brush. So I'm just drawing that, and I'm doing, oopsie, look at that, my hand shook. So now we've got a fat acorn. Let's give him a little bit of a button at the end. Make him fat on the other side also. And I'm just using the plain, what was it? Yellow ochre. I'll let that dry before I do the top. And I'm going to do this leaf with the little cat's tongue brush, which I can't see what I drew here. So I'll just have to, I did such a good job of erasing it. Just have to try and draw another one. There we are. Going to fill that in. And we actually have, from an old box, we have sepia, and I think that I'm going to use that. I just need to find it on here. There's also burnt umber. I might use that. So now I'm going to leave these to dry, and then I'll be back to draw the line. Well, now this is all dried nicely, and I'm going to finish the acorn. So I'm going to see if I can create a brown with the colors. Otherwise, I'm going to just use the burnt umber from an earlier box. But so I'm going to use some of this green. And then I'm going to darken it down by using some of the opposite color, which is the Scarlet Lake. Which creates a sort of a reddish brown. And now I want to get that into a cooler, like darker way. And I'm just intuitively going to use some of this cobalt blue hue, and I don't know if it's going to help. Oh, it does make a brown. I think I need to get a piece of scrap paper. So I've got some of my Hahnemühle agave watercolor, this little pad, and I'm going to try just see what that brown looks like. Not bad, actually. So I'm going to try using that, just drying my brush off slightly on the paper, and then I'm going to try doing this part of the acorn. And oops, dropping water from the brush again. Do tell me how you stop your brush, the ferrule and everything getting wet. You just rinse it at the top. So now I need to get a green going here. Well, first I think I'm going to go with a, let's mix all of these colors together here and see what we get. Also kind of a brown. And I'm going to bring some of this green in there. A bit of the red. A bit of the ochre. Just going to add a little more green. My favorite words again, a titselkie of green. And see how that works. I'm just going to use that for the spine and the veins. And then I want to do the same for this one. A little bit more of that. Whoopsie. Made a bit of a boo-boo there. Just going to blot it up. And the veins. And I could try and create some shadows. Just in the little curves of the leaves there. And then see if I can blend that out a bit. Oh no, look what I've done. Ugh. Gone and stuck my finger, the ball of my hand into this wet bit here. Now I need to get clean water and wipe this up. It's a bit staining, so it doesn't seem to want to wipe up. So I'm just drying my brush off a bit, and I'm going to turn this to try and avoid doing the same thing. Drying the brush off a bit more. Just blending this out a little bit. Trying to create a bit of a shadow. Just added a little bit more blue into this to darken it a bit more. I don't think that I want to put it on that side because that's quite a pale green. So I'm just going to get this little bit shadowed and drying the brush off a bit and then blending that out. Trying again just to drop that in on the damper paper. I hear my voice getting softer as I talk. See how that works. Now I'm using my tiny little cat's tongue brush again, and I'm going to try and mix up this purple, which was the red and the blue. Nice dark purple. Just want to check it out. It's lovely. I've made a mess of the page again. I really am a bit of a mucky plug. So I want to bring this down the one side as well. Very loosely doing these leaves. And the last one. Oops, that's a bit wide. Does the finest lines, doesn't it? Wow. Okie dokie. So that's that one. And then I'm going to go with this green, messing up my paint again. Clean it off. are going to mix a bit of the purple into that green. Not quite sure what that's going to give us because it's got just about every color mixed in already. But yeah, it's just dulling it down a bit, which is what I was hoping. See the color. Quite nice. Just want to dry want a little bit more of the purple in there. Drying that off, and I need to turn this a bit. Nope. Try it this way. No, I can't paint it. It's funny how one has certain directions that you can do things in, and for my hand, they only work in one way. So now I'm going to bring this up. And then out. There we are. That's that one. And we can bring this back again. And now I'm going to use that same one to do this oak leaf and take that off there. There we are. Doing a little stem. There we are, and let me see what I can do. I think it was this way around. I have a cup of tea here. I'm going to have a sip. I'm just going to do some little dabs along to try and give the texture of the acorn. I could have done this. I could have mixed this color, I'm sure, but I feel as if I'm running out of time now. And then I want to just leave my brush damp and clean. And then I'm just going to wet this whole acorn again. And going to come in with a little bit of the burnt umber along the one side, just to shade it. Just line the one edge here, bit at the bottom, then dampening the brush, drying it off, and blending that in. Needs to be more dry, and that can dry. There we are. So I think I'm done with this little painting. Let me remove this. Whoops, it's tearing the paper. And I did the majority of this with the paints from the September Emma Lefebvre watercolor box, Emma Lefebvre Craftamo watercolor box. And to reiterate, we received cobalt blue hue, leaf green, yellow ochre, scarlet lake. There are my 4 covers. We received 2 brushes, this very handy little 2 cuts tongue, and there's an extremely handy number 12 round brush. And we received some really nice Craftamo luxury vegan brush soap, and our 5 pieces of watercolor paper, a tracing paper, and this image that I'm going to learn how to paint in a class that Emma will give us. So I'd like to say thank you very much for joining me for this unboxing and this Watercolor Wednesday, and I hope that you've enjoyed the video, and I hope that you'll join me again for my next video. Bye-bye now. Have a wonderful, creative, and happy day. Bye.